Gvura. And then the becomes real chesed. The Gvura becomes real Gvura. And they become two. So now you have four meichin. Chachma, Bina, Das of chesed, Das of Gvura. The Das that tells me go do this, is very different from the Das that tells me run, stay away from this. And like it's brought out in Priyat Chaim, speaking of walking around in Mitzvas a few hundred years ago, Das hu ha'ikr, that the main thing is Das. How can you say the main thing is Das? Chachma is higher than Das, Bina is higher than Das. The main thing for us is Das. The main thing, what are we going to do with the Chachma and Bina? It's like we say somebody is $1 billion sitting in a closet or whatever. What are you going to do with things? So the same thing, Chachma is great, Bina is fantastic. But what are we going to do with it until it comes down into something we can apply? It's not the ikr. Chachma and Bina are just a hara, which this language is even stranger in a way, because what you talk about the higher things is just a hara, and Das isn't a hara. Das is less of a hara than Chachma and Bina.
Explain the
hara. This purpose. Hara means a light from Hashem. Hashem comes down into different things. Hashem isn't Chachma. When you say about Hashem that He has unlimited wisdom, you can say, sorry, He created wisdom. Not just that. Wisdom, unlimited wisdom, and a rock are the same thing to Hashem. Because He's above that. If you would ask, what's the difference between 1 and 1 billion? It's not much of a question. But at the end of the day, the billion is made up of a bunch of ones. If you take 1 out of the billion, it's missing from being a real billion. So the 1 affects the billion. But if you ask if there's something totally unlimited, 1 and 1 billion are the same. So by Hashem, and Hashem we say isn't just unlimited, because unlimited can't be limited. So He's the power for unlimited and the power for limited. But that comes down into certain things. It comes down to Chachma, it comes down to Bina, and it comes down into Das. But the thing is, when Hashem just comes down for no purpose or for an intermediary purpose, that's coming down. When Hashem comes down for a real thing, that's doing something real. Hashem wants a dirah b'tachteinim. What does that mean? We all say we want Mashiach. We want the dirah b'tachteinim. When we say we want Mashiach, it means we want somebody to bring out we want a general Mashiach who's going to bring out the spark of Mashiach in every person, so that every person can recognize that this is not really a table, this is a part of godliness, which was first a tree, and then Hashem plants something into our minds, and then which is also a part of godliness, and then Hashem makes out of that the table, which is another manifestation of godliness. So we want to see the godliness in everything. What's preventing us from seeing part of it? When we say we want Hashem out in the world, there's a brain that's going around and a body that's going around completely connected to Hashem. I don't know where, but there's 36 of them. Tanya says there's 18,000 of them. Then there's a body that's completely separate from Hashem. And the point is to say, 1 second, we can't let that happen. And I can't go over to someone else. I can't grab somebody in the street. I could grab someone in the street and say, did you put on Teffilin today? And he'll say yes or no. I can't grab somebody in the street and say, did you internalize the Hashem into you today? You can't. So what can a person only have a real hashpah? They can only have on themselves. So there's a very interesting story with Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Mibeditchev. He would say a Kriya Shema, and before Kriya Shema he's making a cheshbon and nefesh. He said, did you serve Hashem today? And the way he made the cheshbon and nefesh, I don't know, he was a little bit hard on himself. We should have had a talk with him then. But he was a little bit hard on himself. He said, no. So he says, well, what's the solution? He says, tomorrow I'm going to serve Hashem with an emes. He says, but you said that yesterday. Yeah, but tomorrow it's really going to happen. Tomorrow I mean it. And then again, he finds some way that it's not perfect, and then tomorrow he's going to serve Hashem with an emes. And the whole day he's trying to serve Hashem with an emes. Obviously, if we made that cheshbon for him on any level, we would have said, look, you pass. But that's a little bit the cheshbon a person has to make over here, that I can't bring the world to Hashem. I can do it one step at a time, and the first step is the person themselves. The only step that they can really do is the person themselves, and then automatically it happens. What happens when a person defeats their Yetzer Hara? Somewhere else a terrorist is defeated. Somewhere else there's more bracha. There's more bracha in the person's life itself. There's more bracha in the world. If there's a city of tzaddikim, it was very interesting. 12 years ago, Rahman al-Islam, or 13 years ago, that was that second Lebanon war, Rahman al-Islam. And there was, in this city, there were very not nice things going on. Very dangerous missiles, and somebody was whatever, and people asked whether they should leave. And I heard from somebody, I heard that Rav Koenig, Allah Shalom, he said, there's more tzaddikim buried in Tzfas than he said in the Yetzi Mitzrayim, whether he meant it kipshuto or whether he meant it as a guzma or whatever, but he said it's a holy place. What are you worried about? Let's say it wasn't for those tzaddikim. Let's say those tzaddikim would have said better, you know what, I'd rather I'll live my life, and they would have sat back and eat pineapples or whatever was around. So we wouldn't have that. And we wouldn't have the same safety. What did Rebbe say? It's interesting, that last Tu B'Shvat, it could be a whole Farbrengen, that last Tu B'Shvat, the main base that we had Leisato. Moshe Katsav was then the transport minister. He comes to the Rebbe stops at the hollow line for 17 minutes, holds onto his hand. The Rebbe says he sees danger in the world, and God forbid for the Jews in Eretz Yisrael, and he's ready to be Meisei Nefesh. It's a very strong lashon. The Alter Rebbe used that lashon, and when the Alter Rebbe passed away, the last of Napoleon's soldiers was retreating from Russia. He's ready to do Meisei Nefesh to save the Jews in Eretz Yisrael. So what would have happened if the Rebbe hadn't said that? Chas v'shalom. Who knows? So there's this idea that the more we affect ourselves, and it's not just tzaddikim, it's every Jew has the power. Every Jew is sent down here with a specific mission. Not just that everyone is the rush of all Bnei Yisrael for a specific mission. The Alter Rebbe says a clear and passionate in Southern, every single person. So when they're doing a cheshbon and nefesh, they realize in 1 second, if I change myself, I could change the world. If I don't change myself, I can't change the world. And then the person could do a real cheshbon and nefesh. Anyway, that's the Chachma, the Bina, and then the Das. That's why Das is the main thing. And through the Das, the person can have better mitzvahs, and then eventually it goes out.
Go ahead.